Alright guys, right now I'm getting ready to assemble an engine for the MR2. This may end up being the engine that we go to World Cup with fresh in the car. I was expecting to have a billet engine done, but it is a little bit behind, and with how close we are cutting it, don't think it's going to be the best move to rush getting that billet engine into the car, because that's what we did last year and we had some issues. So it does kind of suck. Been waiting on it. I should have had it, a few weeks ago now, but it just hasn't happened. So it's looking like we might end up just trying to run the event on the good old cast block. I know that we're going to be in the realm of power where splitting one of these cast blocks is definitely possible, and the billet block would just be insurance that doesn't happen. But at this point, we gotta make it work with what we have. So right here on this table, I got everything laid out to assemble a new cast engine for the MR2 that should be good for like 1600 horsepower. Got my head right here, has a full Freya valve train in there. Dual springs, titanium retainers. It is a stock port, but it has a really heavy spring in there. We got drag cartel cams, got my head gasket, we got the drag cartel billet timing chain guides, a new timing chain tensioner, new timing chain, adjustable cam gears. In this box right here, we have the Speed Factory L19 Extreme Duty head studs. We have a S2000 oil pump. This is the modified S2000 pump. It has this billet piece on the bottom right here to adapt it to a K-series. This is from Drag Cartel. This is about the best oil flow you can get without going to a dry sump. We got a set of these machined rocker arms right here for the head as well from Drag Cartel. Right here we got our rods. These guys are from BME aluminum 300 series solid rods without the pockets, so these are some thick boys right there. We got the crankshaft. We got the pistons right here. These are from Diamond Racing pistons, and I also went ahead and got the rings gapped, so I'm ready to just start assembling this thing. Got all that done, and then I did want to show you guys this. So this came off the engine last year at World Cup. I'm not sure how long the engine was running like this, but it had to be at least for a few passes, if not nearly the whole event. I don't think it was the whole event, because something probably would have failed at that point. But if you look at this lobe right here on the cam, it has a ton of heat in it, and this was that rocker arm that we lost, and we were running the elimination rounds with 15 of our 16 valves operating because this needle bearing right here exploded. So you can see on this rocker right here, it is still missing that needle bearing. We have not replaced it after I took this assembly apart. We just got it back to the shop, and I swapped over a complete rocker assembly from another head. So that's why I got the new rocker arms along with a pair of new cams to replace those. And then we got the sleeve block right over here. This is our Ramey Racing cast sleeve block with the machined grooves right here for the O-rings, so you guys know the deal. We'll get the O-rings in there, start assembling this thing, and it should be pretty straightforward. You guys just saw me put together an engine top to bottom for the Odyssey not that long ago. This is basically going to be the exact same process except with aluminum rods. The only difference between the aluminum rods and the steel rods is that these bearings are the extra clearance bearings. So the aluminum rods, since they expand more once they're heated up, they require a little bit more clearance on the bearings so nothing tightens up too much. And if you actually look at these bearings, they are pre-drilled because the aluminum rods come with a pin inside of them here on the end cap to kind of lock the bearing in place there. And I got these bearings from King Racing once again. So this is the standard X for the rods, and then just standard size crankshaft bearings. And I think that's about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up a time lapse because we only have 3 days left at the time of filming this to get the MR2 ready for World Cup, and this may end up being the engine that we need in the car once we get it loaded up into the trailer to go to the event. So I got to go ahead and just start getting this thing together and get this thing ready, whether it ends up being a backup engine or not. But right now it's looking like this is going to be the engine we are racing on, and the engine that is currently in the car will come out. I'll just do some fresh bearings in it, and then that used engine will be the backup engine should anything happen to this one right here. So let's get this thing together. Alright guys, got the new built engine together for the MR2 here, and while I was finishing that up, Wyatt went ahead and got the old engine out of the car because we are going to be running this fresh one in the MR2 for World Cup. So we have made that decision. Billet engine's just not going to be done in time. So got this one together. Everything is brand new. This is the same cast engine that we had in the MR2 for World Cup last year. It doesn't have too many hits on it, but it has a handful of mid 7-second passes at 190 plus mile an hour. She still probably has a good amount of life in her, but it does have some use. So I'd rather go into the event with a fresh engine. Then the plan is to just do some new rod bearings in this one, do a quick little inspection, and put it back together, and we'll have this package as a backup. We pulled the transmission out as well. This is the one that I just rebuilt that was broken from that day at the track, and this is a fresh transmission that I had rebuilt by Mark over at GP1. So transmission's fresh, brand new clutch, brand new engine. So we are going to World Cup with a fresh package here to hopefully get us through the event on just all of this right here, but we'll have that out of the car if we need it. So now that that one's out and the new engine's built, we're gonna go ahead and get this one into the MR2 so we can start getting prepared and packed up to leave for World Cup. It looks like we're not gonna get any more testing done just because we wanted to spend some extra time making sure we get all this done. There's some minor changes we still wanna get done on the car, try to get it aligned if we can before we leave as well. So this little cast engine's gonna have to just hold on, and hopefully we don't split this thing in half because she's gonna see a lot of boost. At some point, we're definitely gonna send it. So we'll see what happens here. Everyone leave some prayers for the Cast K24. Hopefully she holds for us. And let's get this thing back into the MR2. Get this thing ready to go for World Cup. All right, the MR2 is all back together with the freshly built engine. Got all the fluids in there. The last thing we gotta do is the exhaust because I still just have the up pipe on there. So we'll get the exhaust redone, but we're gonna go ahead and fire this thing up. First start on the fresh engine here, let it heat up. It is just on just some cheaper oil just to heat cycle it a couple times. We'll drain that right out. Then we'll put the VR1 in there and then she'll be good to go. But might take a second to build some fuel pressure, but I'm just gonna crank this sucker till it fires. Oh, almost. Here we go. She don't seem right. Seems like we're losing the crank signal. The RPM comes up and then it just stops.
Well guys, it would be running, but instead we're tearing it back apart.
It almost ran.
It was...
I mean, it did run. It did run, just not for very long.
It just barely ran.
I'm currently trying to get the timing chain cover off. There we go.
Moment of truth.
This is the first time I've had to do this in the MR2. But you can get the timing chain cover off. It is not fun. So, we were losing our crank signal. And we took the bore scope and looked down in here, and it looks like our trigger wheel is modified incorrectly. That'll do it. Look at this.
Not ideal.
So with the Fuel Tech, we run a factory style trigger wheel, but we modify it. We take one tooth off right here, and then this normally from factory has these two teeth that are very close to each other. You'll take one of those off, and then you take this guy off right here. It makes it a 12-1 tooth, and that's why we have it set up in the Fuel Tech. And this is a 12-1 technically, but if you look right here, look at the unevenness. They took off the wrong tooth right here, so instead of that tooth that is missing, it was supposed to be this tooth.
And you can see how it should look.
This is how it should look. See how there's a nice even gap all the way around on the teeth where this one has these two close to each other? This one we just remade. I had to go dig through my storage bin and find a trigger wheel. We got the right one cut, and now it should run. So I'll leave it at that. You know, I got this one from the place that had my billet engine, because even though they didn't get the billet engine done, I went over there to try to get these pieces that I was missing for this engine. They didn't find my bin, and they gave me this one, and I just slapped it in there hoping it would work, and it was wrong. I should have double checked it, but I assumed it was good. Whatever. After we get this one back on there, it should run just fine. But it was just barely running. Alright, got her all back together with the new modified crank trigger wheel. She should start up just fine now. The oil pressure was reading low. Oh shit. I freaked out. I hit the starter because I thought it was the kill switch. I got the alert of low oil pressure. I don't know, it only said 10 psi. How much you did, Wyatt?
I tried to give Kyle a heart attack. He didn't find it as funny as I did. We put a 1600 psi sensor in the oil pressure instead of a 150 psi. I just wasn't paying attention.
So that's why it only said 10 psi. I was like, dude, I swear I put every plug that was important in that motor. She should be good. Right after we had it all apart to fix that crank sensor, I was like, dude, do not do this to me right now. Sounds good, boys. We'll just let it warm up a few times, give it a refresh oil change, and it's about ready to be loaded up. Head to World Cup. So now that the MR2 is running on the new engine, we need to go ahead and get the new exhaust out of the way, because we made this 90 just to get it on the dyno at a 4-inch. But the way I made this was I could modify it later, because I'm basically going to recreate what was already on the MR2. I built this one back at the shop in Colorado years ago. I'm basically just copying this exactly, just in bigger diameter tubing. Try to get our back pressure down a bit, and with what we saw on the dyno, it looks promising. We were way under 1-to-1, but we'll have to see how she does at the higher boost levels. But this 90 already has those cross bolts in it, so I made it so I can just go ahead and cut this off and rebuild off of there. And I got all of my components in right here, so I'm basically just going to be redoing this 3.5-inch section in 4-inch, and then instead of 2 3-inches coming off, we'll be turning those into 2 3.5s. The hardest part about this is just making this little collector right here, but other than that, everything else is pretty straightforward. So I got all of my tubing right here ready to go, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a new, bigger exhaust for this thing. All right, boys, I just got the new exhaust finished up. I think it came out pretty sweet. Just got the wideband bung welded on, so I'm ready to get this onto the MR2. Definitely gonna be a nice upgrade over the old one that was only that 3.5 to 3 inch. So now we are 4 inch to 3.5. Should hopefully keep the back pressure numbers a little bit lower. It does have, you know, pretty tight bend going on here. That's definitely not super efficient, but I definitely want to keep the exhaust just going out the back of the MR2 since we have that engine cover. I would have loved to do this out of titanium. I still might do it in the future because it'd probably save me, you know, an extra 5, maybe almost 10 pounds because this piece is probably good 10, 15 pounds. But either way, I was able to get it done right before World Cup. So this was one of the last major things to get knocked out, and she's good to go. All right, guys, new exhaust is on. Came out pretty sweet. I did have to open up these holes right here a bit because the 3.5 inch was hitting, so I opened those up nice and wide because it was melting the plastic pretty good. But that should let her flow a bit more, help keep our back pressure down. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up, run some exhaust through this new pipe here, and we'll give it one final oil change because it's still on the break-in oil. We'll get some good oil in there, get our catch pan on, and then we got to take it tomorrow to get it aligned. And then we're packing up and heading out Tuesday morning. It's currently Sunday night. What else? We forgetting anything?
Dude, fingers crossed we're good to go because we're cutting it very close. We were supposed to leave tomorrow morning, which didn't work. We're going to get the alignment done and then hopefully throw it in the trailer. Be an uneventful drive up there. I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to regret it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're done working on it. Hopefully she's good to go.
But yeah, fresh engine. It was a lot of work to get to this point, and it was a thrash, but she should be just about ready to go. So I'm really happy Wyatt was able to make it out. And huge thanks to my friends Daniel, Evan, and Lee for kind of helping us behind the scenes, helping getting this thing up and going. But let's fire it up, warm it up one last time, and one last oil change, and it's off to World Cup. Alright, boys, you should be ready to go. We're gonna end this video there. There's a ton of work just to even get to this point, but we're looking good. She's all together.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it's the last time it goes together. Fingers crossed, and she just does good at World Cup, man. It's really all we can ask for, so we'll see.
Yep, hope to see you guys out there. It's a sold out event, so be sure to come say hi. We got jerseys, we'll have merch. I might have a couple RC Raptors, but they're gonna go probably day one because I can only pack so many.
Half the friends group is gonna demolish the first 12 of them, so or get there early, get there quick, because you're gonna want to get one.
I have about 20 of them available, so that's gonna wrap it up though. Hope to see you guys out there. And also, like I said, they sold out, so if you don't have a ticket, also don't show up in person because they're very strict with no more tickets. Just putting that out there. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll be out there with the MR2.
Peace.